The BJP is often taking jibes at Rahul Gandhi that he's barely present in the parliament. But now with his reinstatement as an MP, do you think this time around could be slightly different? Have you had a word on that with the Congress netas? Is Rahul Gandhi going to be a lot more regular? Are we going to hear fiery speeches from him in the parliament this time?
The strategy or at least the timing falls correct as far as the Congress party and the opposition bloc is concerned. You know, what more the opposition parties could have asked for, or the Congress in particular could have asked for. On one side, you have the Delhi Services Bill being brought in the parliament, in the upper house of the parliament today, and on that very day, Rahul Gandhi was reinstated, and tomorrow there's going to be a no confidence motion being moved, which has been moved by Gaurav Gogoi of the Congress party itself, and in that moment you would want your most popular leader to be in the floor of the house and to make that speech. But the question about his regularity, whether he'll be participating in the more of the proceedings or not, is something that the Congress party will have to respond now. But be sure that the last 4 days of this monsoon session, the Congress party and Rahul Gandhi would want to exploit as much as possible to send across a public message, because remember, he has been away from the proceedings because of the disqualification. Now you have the most popular leader of the Congress party, Rahul Gandhi, coming back in the house. He will be speaking as member of the parliament. So the Congress party, Rahul Gandhi himself, as well as the India bloc parties would want to get maximum out of that opportunity. Remember, after the monsoon session, the House will be reconvened normally in the winter session. So there's a long gap between that, and then you will also have the elections in several of the state assemblies, including the Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh. So what we would expect around that time is that possibly Rahul Gandhi will be busy with the election campaigning, as would be the other leaders from the Congress party, and even from the Bharatiya Janata party for that matter. But rightly so, that question that you asked, whether he'll be regular in the proceedings or not, that is to be seen. But as far as the monsoon session is concerned, there are hardly 4 to 5 days that is left, because the House is expected to go Sandai on 11th of this month, and there's a possibility that after Prime Minister's speech is expected on the 10th of this month. So there are hardly 4 to 5 days left in the monsoon session. But
absolutely, there's barely been fruitful proceedings in the parliament. We've just more often than not seen sloganeering, chaos with the opposition alliance partners there sticking to their stance on discussing Manipur with the Prime Minister being in the House. But that hasn't happened. On the contrary, you have the BJP insisting that MPs must discuss, opposition must discuss the atrocities against women in Rajasthan, which is a Congress-ruled state. So this logjam has continued. Nothing fruitful has come in both houses of the parliament. Rahul Gandhi, like you said, is likely to speak tomorrow. Any word that we have on what exactly he's going to be raising in his first speech after being back?
Well, Nabila, the no confidence motion that was moved by the India bloc MPs, and rather in particular Gaurav Gogoi of the Congress party, was done because the India bloc parties wanted Prime Minister Narendra Modi to come to the floor of the House and speak on issue of Manipur. The way our northeastern state is in complete turmoil since May. And because the opposition parties failed to get Prime Minister to speak on the floor of the House, the strategy that was employed in both houses, whether it be the Lok Sabha or the Rajya Sabha, in Lok Sabha you had a different strategy, in Rajya Sabha you had a different strategy. So the best strategy that could have been employed by the opposition bloc was that to move a no confidence motion, which would mean that the government will have to come to the floor of the House, and there was a higher possibility of the Prime Minister speaking on after the no confidence motion. And that is what was aimed at, has been achieved by the opposition parties in terms of House proceedings. On 8th and 9th, you will have discussion on no confidence motion. On 10th, Prime Minister is expected to speak after the no confidence motion, after the voting process is over. In that manner, the speech that we are talking about, or the address that we are talking about, the opposition parties, the Congress MPs, and if at all Rahul Gandhi speaks tomorrow, of which there's a high likelihood, speech could be focused majorly on Manipur and other policy matters through which Mr. Gandhi could target the government over its policy issues. So that is pretty clear. Manipur is going to remain the top focus for the India bloc parties, for the Congress party, and possibly also for Rahul Gandhi tomorrow. Back to you.
That said, as we see the kind of celebration for Rahul Gandhi in the parliament, it's also a very important day for the Aam Aadmi Party as the Delhi Services Bill is going to be introduced in the Rajya Sabha. Rajya Sabha has been adjourned until 2 p.m. Once it resumes, it's going to be a real litmus test to see if at all the India alliance, the opposition alliance partners are truly on one page or not, because that's only the place where they could defeat the BJP in numbers.
Right, Nabila, that is the litmus test that India bloc MPs or India bloc parties are facing right now. We know that numbers are at odds. 121 is the number that the NDA plus YSRCP and BJD looks like right now. And the opposition bloc is expected to have 104, 105 votes in its favor with India bloc MPs on one side and the BRS also coming in support of the Aam Aadmi Party. We know for a matter of fact that several parties, including the Congress Party, the Aam Aadmi Party, the BRS, all JDU, in fact, all of these parties have already issued 3-line whip to ensure that all its members are on the floor of the House. In a very interesting turn of events for that matter, the JDU's whip also applies on the deputy leader of the upper house, Mr. Harivansh, because he's after all MP from the Janata Dal United. So a whip has been issued. All the India bloc parties would want that attendance is 100%. In a very interesting development today, Nabila, what we are also expecting is leaders such as stalwarts such as Shibu Soren, who is former Chief Minister of Jharkhand and President of Jharkhand Mukti Morcha. He could come to the House as well for the proceedings, despite the fact that he hasn't been keeping well. And similar messages or expectations have been kept for former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh as well. So there's a possibility that Mr. Manmohan Singh could come to the House proceedings during the Delhi Services Bill. At least that's what is the expectation of the Aam Aadmi Party as well. So there's a lot of optics at play as well.
As we speak, we know that there's been chaos within the parliament.